And we are live. Hi, I am. I don't. If you are new to the channel, basically what I am doing here is I'm interviewing another movie YouTuber, and I am Gavin, and this is Ethan Butler.
Hey,
So
good
introduce
to be here.
yourself.
Yeah. Um, I'm Ethan from my channel, which is just my name, and I talk about movies. I like movies. I don't really have specific things I cover. I just enjoy talking about film. So, yeah.
So I guess I'll just respond to the chat and see if anyone's actually. Hey, there's actually people watching. I croissant. I guess that's going to be the first thing typed in the chat. So that's nice. Hey, Network 98. It's always great to have you here. And I guess here's your first question.
What if Taco Bell made a movie? What if Taco Bell made a movie? I would say it would be cheap. It would probably it'd be really easy to digest, but it'd make you feel kind of crappy afterwards. So, basically the Fast and Furious movies is what I would say.
That is a great comparison. I've actually never gone to Taco Bell, so I wouldn't know.
Oof.
This time I got a note of law. Yeah, he said on my last live stream that I did that was like 20 minutes because I was out of my mind bored and I didn't know what to do, so I decided to start up a live stream last night. And he commented and said he got the note of an hour after I started the live stream. So yeah. Also, if anything seems a little bit laggy, I apologize. My computer's not the best. So that's why. Took a break from watching Godzilla versus Kong to watch this. Thank you. That is
Dang,
that that
that's a commitment.
yeah, that is a commitment. I don't know if that was the best decision, but thank you. I guess is all I have to say. Hey, Honor. This stream is brought to you by Letter B. Yeah, it's brought to you by Letter B. So,
My second favorite letter.
what's your favorite letter?
E, obviously.
Oh, that makes sense. I'm sorry if it seems like I'm a little bit disinterested. I'm just gonna spam this whole live stream so I can get watch time, and I'm gonna spam it to every Discord server. So I just need a second. Okay. Agreed. Gavin, can you rank the 2021 films you've seen? Number 1, The Snyder Cut. That's the only one I've seen. So,
what other 2021 films have I seen? Yeah, I think I technically the Snyder Cut, but I haven't seen it all the way through, so I probably wouldn't count it.
Well, I guess I don't think many people have seen, unless you're like a big like critic YouTuber, like I don't know, someone with 100K. I don't think most people have seen more than the Snyder Cut when it comes to 2021 movies.
Yeah.
I think I will start with the first question, which is let me get here. I haven't memorized them yet, but what inspired you to start YouTube?
Well, it's a weird thing because I remember when I first got set up with the Google account at like the beginning of my 6th grade year. So like I wasn't really familiar, but then I found out that there's like a YouTube channel linked with that, and I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. I thought I like discovered fire or something. So I was like, oh wow, and I don't think I started like figuring out what I wanted to post specifically, because before I just kind of posted whatever. I just posted like videos that I filmed around my house. And it wasn't until I think The Last Jedi came out, so like 2017, when I decided I was like gonna make movie reviews and talk about movies because that was something I was passionate about. So I guess like I didn't wasn't really inspired to start YouTube. I just kind of like discovered that it came with the Google account. So that's kind of where it started. But I mean, I guess you can say that Last Jedi review is kind of what inspired me to make, movies about videos about movies. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Uh, that's very interesting because I don't think everyone who is like, oh, I always love talking about movies. It's been something I've done since I was 2 years old or something like that. You're just like, no, I just discovered it because it came with the Google account.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm. Let's see. Ethan, do you play any games? If so, what's your favorite?
Mario Kart. That's like the only game I've ever played, to be honest. I don't really like video games. I guess that's a hot take. I just never really got into playing games regularly. But I mean, if I have to go with the favorite, I'd say Mario Kart because that's like the only one I play. But Mario Kart's dope. Like that is that's like that's top tier stuff, you know.
Hmm. 12. Well, I have not seen 12 or have bothered enough to check that many of those. I'm just gonna make sure that that the chat isn't off because that normally happens a lot. Wow, 13. Yeah, that's what everyone else seems to be thinking, that it's awesome. I don't really care for the MonsterVerse movies. I've said this before. They don't look like my thing. I know that's hypocritical of me to say, but they just look like they're not for me. I watched Godzilla versus Kong. It was fine. They just kind of look like mindless like entertainment. They don't really look like anything I could get anything from. So
Yeah, same.
hmm.
Let's see. My least favorite comic book movie would have to be Justice League or Justice League. It's like the first one that comes to mind. It's kind of the obvious pick for a lot of people. I could say Batman and Robin, but like I at least enjoy that one. I don't get enjoyment out of Justice League. That movie was garbage. So yeah, that's what I'd have to go with.
uh I guess I'll just answer this. My least favorite, I maybe Justice League. I Captain Marvel. I hate both of those movies, with my soul. But
Yeah.
okay, what was the first movie you remember seeing?
Ever seeing. Wow. I mean, there are a couple that come to mind of just like childhood movies that I had played on loop. So I can think of a few. The Sandlot, that's a big one. Childhood classic. Beauty and the Beast. What was the? I think Finding Nemo and Cars. Night in the Museum. Uh, and then there's one more of those like childhood classics. Probably like Toy Story. I think that was the other one.
Mm. I mean, those are, I think, but like no one's really the Sandlot. I don't think on this channel. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think anyone on this series has ever said that. So that's interesting. And I think a lot of people grow up with that movie. They just don't bring it up as often because it's not one that people normally talk about.
Oh man, that movie's just that's one of my favorites. I love that movie so much.
Mm.
It's quotable. It's hilarious. It's super likable. So I'd have to say that's one of the first movies I remember seeing, and still to this day one of my all time favorites. Thankfully.
Mm. Interesting. I think that's like one of Cinemassacre's favorite movies.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and he was like I don't even care about baseball, but I love the movie, which is I don't really care about baseball either, but I love The Sandlot. So
I really enjoy it too, so fair enough. Did you watch anyone before you started YouTube?
Oh, like any YouTubers?
Yeah.
Um, Jeremy Johns, I think, is the first one that comes to mind that I remember watching before I even knew I can make a YouTube channel on my own. I discovered like Chris Stuckman like 2017, I think, somewhere around there. So like I'd say Jeremy Johns is the one I watched the most out of like any movie channel.
Mhm. Well, I mean, Jeremy Johns is great, and Chris Stuckman's very good. So, I don't watch them. I don't really watch them as much, but they're good.
Mhm. Yeah, no, Chris Stuckman's my favorite.
Do you watch older movies with the time period aspect, or watch it with 2021 eyes?
Ooh,
Huh? I,
that's an interesting question. So like basically like do you watch movies in the context of when they were made, or do you just kind of look at them now and don't care about when they were made? Um that's interesting. I've never been asked that question before. I would say I look at it more from the time period aspect. Like there are so many movies that I just watch and I'm like, this doesn't hold up that well, but I'll forgive it because it came out during this time period. I'm not that harsh on things that don't entirely hold up. So I'm more of like a time period aspect guy. But there are definitely times where like if something's like really slow and I'm not really getting into it, I'll acknowledge that. And no matter how nice it looked for the time it came out, like it all comes down to enjoyment. And if I don't enjoy it, I'm going to acknowledge that. But yeah, I definitely like to look at the period aspect.
I am kind of where I just look at it now. Normally, I don't really like maybe because normally I don't really watch movies that are that dated, old movies. I don't know why I just don't like. Normally, the ones I think are really dated are like sci-fi films. So I just kind of look at it now. I guess
Yeah.
I've never really thought about that though. Worst comic book film for me is Electra or Catwoman. I haven't seen either, so I would.
Yeah, me neither. I've seen a lot of Catwoman. I don't really care to finish it. And I don't really know much about Elektra. I'm just not a big Jennifer Gardner fan, never have been, so I'm not really looking forward to ever watching that. So
Okay, the next question is favorite movie. I think I know what this is, but for everyone that doesn't,
it's right behind you.
oh yeah, oh yeah. I thought you were gonna say Before Sunrise, but
Yeah, well, I watched Shawshank recently, like a couple days ago, no, like a week ago, and I was like, nope, this is my favorite. But I still love Before Sunset. Before Sunset's still like, top tier. I'd say top 3 of all time. But the Shawshank Redemption's just too complete for me. So I have to give it that credit. That movie's amazing. It accomplishes everything I want it to. Um it's this is like it sounds like a weird like not a weird, like a weird acknowledgement.
positive.
Yeah, but the movie is like incredibly humble in its approach. Just the message, the filmmaking, like the uh the director of photography was Roger Deakins, who did like 1917, Prisoners, most of the Coen brothers movies. He's known as like one of the best cinematographers working today. Blade Runner 2049 is probably his best work. Um so he's like a really like out there cinematographer, and when you watch one of his movies you're like, wow, that looks amazing. But like he lends the Shawshank Redemption and he totally lets the story take the forefront, and he doesn't go all out with the cinematography because that's not really what's important. the cinematography gets its job done, but it's never flashy or in your face like we're being really artsy. You know what I mean?
So like
The
so movies like I don't know, Evil Dead or what's another movie that's like that? It's very style over substance. Batman v Superman, the Ultimate Edition, I think is a good example of that.
a lot of Zack Snyder, yeah, yeah.
The Grand Budapest Hotel, I consider it a lot like that.
Hmm. Yeah, I can see that. No, it's like movies that are just really flashy. That's not what the Shawshank Redemption is. Like when you have like the best cinematographer alive today, like lensing this film, you'd think he'd go all out with it, but he keeps it subtle, which is super nice to see. All the performances in the movie are just really subtle and natural. They never feel like they're trying to win awards. Um, the direction and the message and the writing, it's all just super, super naturalistic, and I love it. So I'd say it's like the most humble movie I've ever seen. It sounds weird, but it just seems like it's not thinking about itself and more thinking about how it's gonna like affect other people with its message and with its emotional core. So yeah, that's part of the reason why it's my favorite among a lot of other reasons. But
Yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from. I mean, um, it it has actual story, like unlike a certain 80s horror movie I watched last night, and that everyone got angry at me on Letterboxd for uh, giving it a negative review.
yeah,
I am just slandering it now.
yeah, I haven't seen The Evil Dead, so I wouldn't know. But yeah,
I mean seriously though, I do agree with you on like how I haven't really thought of that, but it's definitely something that I think about and I'm like, yeah, it does work in that way.
hmm
The first movie I remember, a lot of people say that's the first movie they remember seeing. Ethan, what if Pepsi made a movie?
Pepsi. Let me think. Pepsi is fairly well known. I mean, only some of us, like the exclusive kids, know what Pepsi is. But I just say it's if Pepsi made a movie, it would be really energetic, probably kind of selfish and constantly trying to throw in product placement. It would just be an advertisement, honestly. They
so,
couldn't make
so,
a movie.
so the Emoji Movie in a nutshell. Or
Yeah,
Ralph Breaks the
basically.
Internet. So like those movies.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
I try to watch movies with the time period in mind. I normally just don't think about it. I haven't thought about it until now. So
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a good way to be.
yes, I did. I would. The thing is, I'm more really bashing it just randomly. I don't want to overdo it because that's just not. I don't want to completely overdo it. But I just didn't. I was comparing something to a movie that we were talking about, and then I made a joke about it, which I won't go too far. Okay, when I do my overrated movies video, you will see what I have to say about that. Ethan, best and worst Chucky movie.
I have not seen a Chucky movie except I've seen like most of I think the Cult of Chucky. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, there's Cult of Chucky. There's Child's Play 1, 2, 3, Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, Curse, Cult, and then there's the remake.
Yeah. Yeah. Cult of Chucky. I watched it with a friend. And I hadn't seen like that style of humor displayed before. So it was like really shocking for me when he showed it to me. He's like, "Yo, let's watch this movie." We only saw like part of it, but it was a lot
Mm.
to take in. So I can't really have a stance on it though.
Mm. Okay. Well, I mean, I trust me. They get better, but Uh, I've seen all of them. I haven't watched them in a while, but my favorite is the original Child's Play, and my least favorite is Chucky, obviously. So, do you want more Snyderverse films, or do you want Warner Brothers to continue with its current plan? What do you have to say?
Um, well, I'm not that into the DCEU, but what I've always liked about the DCEU compared to like the MCU and a lot of other franchises is they all feel very distinct, despite them not being like great movies, in my opinion. They at least have a director's vision like shown on screen. So um like Aquaman, like I think of James Wan behind the camera. When I watch Wonder Woman, that feels very Patty Jenkins. When I watch Man of Steel, it's very Zack Snyder, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they all just feel distinct and they feel like they have their own voice, whereas like the MCU feels very like all the same product. It all feels like the same thing directed by the same people, even though they're directed by different people. And it takes a lot of creative control, a lot of creative freedom away from the filmmakers. And to be honest, I just kind of want them to keep directing things with different visions. It doesn't have as much consistency, but at least it keeps it fresh and different. If Snyder just directed all the movies, they'd all be the same.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I mean the Snyderverse maybe, but I'd rather see Batman more fleshed out. I think they kind of went overboard with him, and he just was kind of added in here. And I don't think they really gave him like much of like anything, because I think he's a great character. But I wish we saw him at the beginning when Jason Todd died and all this stuff that we're not shown here, or at least have some sort of flashback of it. That would be interesting. That would add to his character so much more.
mhm.
But yeah, I'd like to see more of those. I don't want to just see Snyder do his stuff because I don't want to see that. But I'd rather see Snyder do more of his stuff and then see people like James Wan, Patty Jenkins, and I forgot the guy who directed Shazam, but like him and like people like that just are able to do other movies. And I'm interested to see what Snyder does, but guys, we need Joss Whedon's version of Avengers Endgame. We need the Whedon cut. We need to restore the Whedon verse. I'm sorry. I have this ongoing joke on Instagram. My dad actually came up with this because I can't come up with this. But I did this thing on. So he told me I should try to start this joke movement called "Release Joss Whedon's version of Avengers Endgame" or something like as a joke. And I post that on Instagram, and I just keep doing it on Discord as like a joke anytime Endgame's brought up or like anytime this stuff happens, and it's so fun. I don't think I've had more enjoyment from that in my entire life.
Mhm. Yeah.
Seed or the remake are just I hate Seed, but I love the remake. So Ethan, best and worst MCU movie.
Ooh. Well, I've got some hot takes. Well, obviously my least favorite would have to be Captain Marvel. I don't like that movie. And it's kind of one that like this just fizzled from my mind. It was just boring, bland, forgettable. I didn't really enjoy it. At least with like I don't know, Iron Man 2 and Incredible Hulk and Thor 2, at least they have like some kind of energy or something to latch onto. Like everyone hates on the Incredible Hulk, but honestly, like the best parts of that movie are like the uh where is he? Like South America, I think. Um oh, before he gets to America. And basically um when before he gets to America, like that whole aspect I actually found really compelling. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I actually like that part a lot. And then like Iron Man 2, like I don't enjoy it very much, but I know there's some things in there that I latch onto, but I just do not care about anything that happened in Captain Marvel. That movie was so bland. Um but my favorite MCU movie is probably one of the ones you hate the most, Gavin. It's Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Ah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of conflict. I'm thinking between Avengers Endgame and Guardians Volume 2. They both have problems, but I think Guardians 2 is just better constructed. I don't know. I love the direction. It looks amazing. Um, I like the character work. It feels really like specific. And everyone just grows in some way. And everyone like goes through something. And everyone has layers and there's always like everyone is like sad most of the time, but it makes them just easier to relate to. So then I feel like once that third act comes around, it's just easier for me to connect with everything going on. But, you know, what about you?
I don't like Guardians 2. I could do a whole video essay right here, right now, if I wanted to. But maybe I could understand kind of where you're coming from. The script was just, it was just too messy for me to really have any enjoyment from it.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently it wasn't Jason Todd. Apparently it was Dick Grayson. Oh, okay, well, that's more of a connection, so that makes more sense. We need no version of Endgame. It sucks in general. Yeah,
Ooh, man.
you think that because you watched the Russo Brothers edition. You didn't watch the Whedon cut. Okay, we need the Whedon cut, and if you think that, you are factually wrong. We don't need the universe to be restored, Gavin. Yes, we do. Okay, yes, we do. We need it to be restored. Someone's gonna start taking this seriously, and then they're gonna have this whole movement. Right. Because, of course, we just can't be satisfied, and we always need a cut of something in the superhero world.
Yeah, probably.
Avengers and Gavin. the Gavin redemption. Okay. The perks of being a. There are no perks. The Gavin Shake redemption. Has either of you seen it? I haven't seen any. Have you?
No, I've seen parts of them. Not totally my thing, but I don't know. I know the twist of the first one, and honestly, it's pretty awesome. But I haven't seen the movie, so like I wouldn't know the awesomeness of the twist completely. I just think it's cool.
Yeah, I'm actually 13, so that works. That's actually good. Okay, I'll give you that much. Yes. Okay. I should probably move on to the questions. Who is your favorite director?
Spielberg, by far. He's made a lot of trashy movies for sure. He made a lot of just mediocre ones, but I can't help but realize just like he's such a great filmmaker. He's very careful about his emphasis on characters when it comes to his filmmaking. Like a lot of his shots feature just like isolated frames of actors, and he likes to focus on the emotion within people. And his movies are just like, for the most part, pretty easy to watch. Like they've got like complexity and drama and intensity in them, but for the most part, they're like really accessible, and that's why he's so popular. Because like his movies just kind of connect with so many people. Um, if I had to go with a director that's more consistent, I'd probably say Edgar Wright. Because everything he makes is like the exact way I would make it. Like, but I wouldn't do it as well, obviously. But just like the pacing and the edits, the energy he puts into everything, like it's just like the way I envision like some things. I just wish I could pull it off as well as he does, but it's basically like my dream movies come to life, and I'm like, oh wow, he made that. That's so cool.
Mm. Well, I mean, I agree with you. Spielberg is pretty inconsistent. But yeah, he's made some good stuff. I think that he's made some great movies. He's made some classics. I need to rewatch his stuff though, because when I watched most of his movies, it was when I was in my Sean Chandler phase. I think a lot of us have had that at one
We
point.
all know the phase.
Exactly, and this is where I had a lot of really generic opinions. So,
Yeah.
hey, Orange, gonna rewatch the stream. Well, thank you. That gives me a lot of watch time, and you know me, I love my numbers. So, thank you. Honestly, no, all jokes aside,
Yes.
yes.
That yes. I cannot believe that they. Oh man, he would have been so perfect. Honestly, Ant-Man would have been one of the best MCU movies if Edgar Wright directed it, because this man is like
Yeah,
a master. But I don't know. A lot of creative problems happened, and it's too
mm.
bad.
Yeah, because he's too complex for the MCU to handle.
Yeah, it's like his filmmaking is like really just
Good.
unique. Yeah, and like a lot of the other ones just kind of all feel the same. It's all basic, like borderline stuff. It's just not it's not that interesting, but he makes it interesting. But they probably didn't want that. That's how I feel at least. But yeah, I totally want the Edgar Wright version of Ant-Man 100%.
I mean, that would be interesting. I don't know if you'd fit it well, but it would be something different than like some. The thing is, I look in cinematography a lot. I think people know this at this point. It's like the first thing I talk about in every video essay, and because it's a visual medium, so it should be visually pleasing. And the thing is, with this movie, with the MCUs in general, they're not very visually interesting. There's anything going
No.
on. It feels like a Marvel movie. Like when I look at this bland color palette and everything, I'm like, yeah, that's a Marvel movie. I shouldn't be doing that. But I do because they just don't care much about the cinematography, which is like one of the main basics of filmmaking. So
Yeah. If they just
it's
put
just,
more color into their shots, honestly, I would be so much more happy. But they just look so gray and dull that it just bothers me so much.
yeah, like I'm not I know I am joking about the Weening cut and all, but the Avengers Tower, it had flair. It looked interesting. It looked cool. And then we get to Avengers Endgame, and I don't even want to start on how ugly it looks.
Yeah, no, I love Endgame, but I don't like a lot of the filmmaking. I think it's extremely bland from a visual perspective. So that's why I think like making an Edgar Wright version of Ant-Man would have been so much better. And that scene where what's his name, Luis is like telling a story or whatever in Ant-Man, like that scene felt so Edgar Wright, and I was like, the rest of the movie needs to be like that. Just like the whip pans, the quick edits, the pacing.
He probably did write that scene, and they just took it.
Yeah, it's quite possible that like that he directed most of that scene. I don't know what happened, but
I mean, that would make sense.
yeah, that was totally him though. And so I was like, why can't the rest of the movie be like this? Just make it fun. You don't need to have some boring villain just standing there doing stuff.
Okay, so who is your favorite screenwriter?
Mm, I think this is a basic one. I'd say Aaron Sorkin.
Oh, I don't think you need to explain much about that.
Yeah.
What are your favorite aspects of The Prince of Egypt? I think. Do you want to start?
Yeah, I would say the visual storytelling is fantastic in that movie. It looks amazing, like just the animation looks great, but like what I love the most is how they're able to just say a lot without using any dialogue. So like the final third act of The Prince of Egypt barely has any words. It's just the music and it's the visuals, and it tells you so much. So much emotion is conveyed. A lot is happening, and you don't need to explain it. In so many animated movies these days, like they characters just need to say everything for some reason. But like The Prince of Egypt is so like subtle in its approach. So I would say, yeah, the visual storytelling is fantastic.
I would say probably the symbolism, because if you think about it, it has like there's like this whole scene where we see Moses and Ramses, and they're like their heads are split apart, and then we see it move, and then we see them slowly on separate sides of the camera. Just
Yeah,
scenes like that, and like that scene where like Ramses is on like the higher part of like this.
yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
So
and then he's lower, and then it's the same thing again. Stuff like small stuff like that is amazing, and of course, I mean, you got the music, you got the animation. It's the characters, and how they drift apart. It's almost a perfect movie. It's amazing.
yeah, it's fantastic.
Spielberg is making a movie about himself. Interesting. Hmm. Which film do you see yourself in the most? That's an interesting one. That is very interesting.
Hmm. Ooh. I know. This is just the first one that came to mind. Um, and it may not be like my definitive like the most answer, but uh, in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I see myself as Cameron, um, Ferris's friend. Have you seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yeah, I watched it. I watched it like almost over a year ago, but I remember it.
Yeah, no, because I remember in middle school, I had a friend like Ferris, a smooth talker, could get away with a lot of things, was kind of a sneak, but was like cool and everyone liked him. And I was a little more like Cameron. I was like I was the one who kind of dragged certain situations down, tried to make sure like, oh, yo, we need to we can't go that far, kind of a thing. I was more of the one that doubted everything, and together we worked well together because he'd be really out there, I'd be a little more, and so it was a nice balance. And so I always see myself as Cameron, just his personality, his just everything.
Hmm.
It's just a really relatable character to me.
Hmm. I think in Eraserhead, I see myself the most. And it's a lot funnier if you actually have watched Eraserhead, but
I know a lot about Eraserhead.
but seriously though, what film do I see the most inside myself? That's actually a hard one, because I would say The Perks of Being a Wallflower, but I'm not a freshman yet, so that's odd.
Yeah, well, it
There's a
applies
lot
a lot to middle school as well, so I don't mind it that much.
for a normal person. So I guess, but I'm not. Trust me, I'm not going to be end up doing anything he does in half the things he does in that movie until I'm in like my senior year of college. But my point
Yeah,
is, I haven't done a lot of the things in that movie he's done, so I don't know if I'd relate to what he's done or like exactly the other characters or like his life. But at the same time, I relate to him a bit as a person, because I am not that great when it comes to like actually just talking to people in real life. I'm good at talking to a camera, but I can't really talk to actual people in real life, like socializing, I guess.
mhm.
And I relate to him in that aspect of like, what should I do? What should I do in specific situations? And I think I guess I see myself as him as a character.
Yeah, no, I definitely related to that character as well. Really really interesting guy, and I just kind of felt a lot of his anxiety a lot, just because being at school, it's very like it's a spooky experience sometimes.
Ethan's short film was fantastic. It depends on which short film you're talking about. Silverado was a masterpiece, but
I think he's talking about Solitary.
that one. I watched a little bit of it. I gotta watch that, and then I gotta rank your movies.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really make it. I edited it and I shot most of it, but I made it with a group of people. So I'm not there. There are a lot of other people to thank for that, and I don't even know who they are because it was at a film class that I took for like 1 week.
Oh, okay. So you shot. So did you work on the script at all?
I helped, but it was mostly 2 other kids that were working on it. So I mean, it didn't have like much of a script. It was kind of like a lot of improv because there's not really any dialogue in that one. But yeah, I mean, we all like worked together, but like I didn't make the whole thing. So
I think a lot of people think that because it was on your channel. So
yeah,
is my mic quality okay?
yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, I do. That's the only reason I ever tried to YouTube, and it hasn't been working too well. So yeah. Can you rank the DC animated film universe? I'm thinking about it. I gotta take a bit though. It's gonna take a while if I want to do that. So, Ethan, what if Michael Bay made an MCU movie? It would be the greatest MCU movie.
Yeah, I would say, what franchise would I want? That's an interesting one that I just made up. But I think, out of all of them, I would say maybe Iron Man. I can totally see him doing that. He likes, I don't know, he likes being really loud. He likes a lot of color, oversaturation, a lot of explosions, butts for some reason. So he does a lot of he has a lot of weird trademarks, but honestly, it could totally work in an Iron Man movie. He could get away with it.
Honestly, yeah, it would. Yeah, but the thing is, it's like, but there's things in other genders he looks for that I don't think that the MC would be okay with that. But
yeah, no, they're Disney. They'd have to keep it, family friendly.
yeah, but this is a PG channel, so I'm not gonna talk about that. So,
yeah.
Let's see. No, we are not talking about Endgame here. No. So, Ethan, do you think the BFG is a good follow-up for Spielberg after Bridge of Spies?
Haven't seen the BFG actually. I've seen Bridge of Spies. I saw that actually a couple weeks ago for the first time. I didn't like Bridge of Spies that much, to be honest. I didn't find it that interesting. Didn't really get into it that much. I mean, it looked nice. Really good filmmaking because it's Spielberg, obviously. So he's really good at controlling the camera. But I just didn't find the story that interesting. I didn't really get into it all that much. But so yeah, I can't really answer that question because I haven't seen the BFG.
We did. If you play it back, like if you go back a while when we were talking about his favorite movie, then it'll be there. What if Tarantino directed a Marvel movie?
One, that would never happen. But I don't know. Maybe if it was like an X-Men movie, I can see that. But Disney owns Fox now, so it wouldn't work as well. But let's say it was like 3-4 years in the past, and we could still have Fox Marvel movies. Um, I can totally see him doing a Deadpool movie. Totally.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yes.
That's like that's just his thing. I couldn't see him really making Logan. Logan
No.
just seems more just serious, but Deadpool is totally like Tarantino's sense of humor.
Yes. I don't see him doing much else though. There aren't
I can
any.
see him. I can see him doing Guardians of the Galaxy. Honestly, if they made an R-rated Guardians of the Galaxy, I could probably see that.
Yeah, but that wouldn't make much sense to make it rated R. So
Yeah, but I can tell like in the first Guardians of the Galaxy, it just I could tell a lot of the times they just wanted to make it R-rated, but just a lot of the humor and a lot of the things in there. But I could see Tarantino doing that. Just a lot of like narration, a lot of like weird filmmaking choices. They'd have like a freeze frame on like Gamora, and then they'd have like her backstory, like Samuel L. Jackson narrating her backstory.
yes.
And it would just be like really fast. And there'd be like long scenes where they're just talking, and all of a sudden, like people get shot and there's just blood everywhere. That's totally Tarantino. So I don't know. I could see that happening actually.
Honestly, I don't see him directing many Marvel movies, but I could see him actually doing a good amount of DC stuff. If I'm being honest, like Birds of Prey,
Oh
that
yeah.
would be it. Birds of Prey is something you would definitely do. I haven't really seen his. I've only seen Inglorious Bastards, but the things with that movie, you can tell so much what type of a director he is by that movie. Like you can really
Yeah.
tell.
Honestly, any of his movies, you just I'll never watch one of his movies and not think Tarantino. Like this is who he is from the
Yeah,
beginning. Like his first movies, like that, it still has his name written all over it.
I don't seem to. The more I think about it, I don't think I could see him doing much else besides a Birds of Prey movie or a Harley Quinn movie. Like that would be that would definitely be. I don't know what else would he do. I mean, if Batman's still using a tank, then maybe that would make sense. But maybe Teen Titans. I don't know. I see him doing Teen Titans for some reason. I just see that.
Yeah.
Mm. But yeah, it's really hard to say to be honest. Like, because Tarantino is such a distinct style, it's hard to really see it with any comic book characters.
Yeah. His stuff has to be original. He can't really make adaptations. Well,
Well,
he's always talked about making a Star Trek movie. I've always heard that. That would be weird.
that would be really weird. I'm guessing he like grew up with it or something.
Yeah, I could. That would
He
be
did it.
hilarious if he made a Star Wars movie.
Oh, yeah,
Imagine just like all of the like because Star Wars has always been like super family friendly, but that would be hilarious if they made like just like R-rated Star Wars where everyone's just swearing at each other and stormtroopers just it's just that would be hilarious.
yeah, and then it's a remake of A New Hope, and then we see Luke staring into the camera. And then we get his whole backstory, and then there's like all these talking scenes. Like his that wouldn't work at all.
Yeah, no, I can that would be funny. That's kind of dang. Now I kind of want to see that now.
Mm. So the next one is favorite TV show.
Avatar, The Last Airbender. By far my favorite. Great characters, great visual storytelling. It's just fantastic all around. Like I saw it over the summer for the first time. I never grew up on it, and I honestly thought it was just going to be some dumb kid show. Just I don't know, it just didn't seem like my thing. I just never really got into things like that. But
Ha, hypocrisy.
yeah, it totally won me over. I was like completely into it by season 2. I was like fully invested. And it has like some of my all-time favorite characters in fiction history. Like Azula is probably my favorite villain ever written.
Really?
Yeah. I love that character so much. I I just love how much care is put into everything on display, especially the characters. Like, have you seen the all 3 seasons?
Yeah, I saw it. I watched the entire thing.
Yeah. Season 3. Do you remember the episode The Beach?
Oh yeah, I remember that one with Kylie, Zuko, and Mai and Azula, and they're on the beach, and then they open up at the end, like with the campfire.
Yeah. I just that's like my prime example of them just putting so much care and love into um developing their characters and fleshing everyone out. And it has some of the best world building I've ever seen. Just it's so precise and so tangible. Like I totally could live in that world where just bending is a thing. And I also love how all the main characters are kids. So it's like really cool to see kids like beat up adults, but it's also I can totally see it being relatable to like young children too. But it's also cool for adults because it's like freaking awesome. Like the action is so cool.
Yeah,
The animation is beautiful.
yeah. I don't think many people besides like film critics are gonna actually watch Avatar: The Last Airbender because they'll probably look at it, realize it's from Nickelodeon, and never watch it. But us people will
The
always
cool kids, yeah.
get the cool kids. But yeah, Avatar: The Last Airbender was great. I want to do a whole review on it. I was gonna do a review series for it. I was gonna review each season. I'm like, I can't just do a review, okay? If I'm gonna talk about the whole thing, I'm doing a video essay, and I've been holding it back for a while because of everything I'm doing. So yeah, I want to make a tier list. I might end up doing that first, and then I'll talk about everything else I love about the show, like a character tier list.
Yeah. No, that I would put them all in S tier.
I mean, I wouldn't because if we're talking about every character, that includes. So, honestly, the only character I think is bad in this show that's like a main character is Ty Lee. I don't like her.
I like Ty Lee.
I mean, she was interesting somewhat. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's something that happens with her that she talks about, and that she says she's not doesn't want to be that type of person, and then we don't see any of that her changing that idea, and then she is that the exact same thing that she didn't want to be. I won't spoil what happens, but that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. No, I get. Yeah, I can understand that. No, like every character, I like pretty much every character. I love the cabbage guy. He's probably my favorite character.
Sorry if I skip some of your guys' questions. I'm just gonna skip to like other ones. Main best film through visuals and music, and best film through dialogue.
Best through visuals. Let me think. What are like the best looking movies I've seen? And I mean, honestly, I'd probably say like The Prince of Egypt when it comes to a visual level. Um, best through music. Like, I mean, best through music, like just using music to tell the story.
I think like soundtrack isn't like that stuff.
Yeah. Hmm. Honestly, when it comes to telling something through music, I'd say like The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Just because like every song in that movie displays some kind of emotion or like demonstrates some kind of plot point. Except for a guy like you, that song did nothing for me. But
I hate that song so much.
But like everything else, like Hellfire, God Help the Outcasts, and they're all just songs that communicate something. And so when it comes to music, it does it perfectly. Another one, it came out like 2019. It's called Rocket Man, the biopic about Elton John. What I
Oh
loved
yeah,
about I love the execution of that story because it's a lot of um how do I describe it? It's a lot of using his songs, Elton John's songs, to tell his life story. And so like completely recontextualizes his music. And it's really well done. There's like I Want Love, which was like released in the 90s or something, but they use that song to demonstrate the relationship he has with his family. Um that's like there's just a lot of things where it just really works and integrates itself really well into the story. So yeah. And then best film through dialogue, I'd say 12 Angry Men. That just that's like my obvious choice.
Well, I guess I'll do this. Best film through visuals. Looking at my favorites list because like a lot of mine, those aspects that you mentioned are some of my favorite movies. I think the two that I would go with. So just give me a second. I think the two that I would go with are Your Name and Fight Club. I think, yeah, Fight Club, because I feel like with it, the visuals in Fight Club, people say they're dated, but they're so impressive. Like the way Fincher moves the camera, the way they're able to just like sometimes they'll go into like a bomb or something, like that scene where he takes the camera and it just like moves inside to the bomb, and like you see all the
Yeah, the
wires.
CGI aided shots.
I think those shots are great, and just like the
Mm.
color grading, that classic Fincher color grading is amazing. So I think everything with but I guess Your Name's probably better shot actually. The more I think about it, because I think it's more colorfully appealing with the blue and the yellow and the pink. It looks gorgeous. It just looks like something that you straight out of just I don't know a painting. A painting's the best way to describe it. It's that gorgeous and beautiful feel that sometimes there's just like these weird trippy designs that just it's hypnotizing.
Yeah, I would say Blade Runner 2049, but I haven't I saw it the other day. I only got like an hour in and I didn't get to finish it. So, I can't technically count that one, but from what I saw like every single shot in that movie could basically be screenshotted and used as like wallpaper on your computer. Like every shot is absolutely gorgeous.
Best movie through the soundtrack, Perks definitely, because it's my favorite movie of all time, so of course I gotta include it. But there's scenes like Come On Eileen where it's
I
a
love
movie
that song. It's
like
such a
this.
good song.
It's a movie that's it feels like it's encouraging it's encouraging Charlie to build his confidence. Like it feels like that's what it means. I mean, it's a stretch, but I feel like it does. In the beat when he's like walking over, and like I talked about this like in my video essay, and then like the rhythm, and then he like walks with the rhythm, and like the way they just have that down. It's a perfect scene. And then scenes like when it's like "Don't Feel Bad" for like the song "Asleep." That song
Mhm.
is perfect, and it's just the songs in general, like the score is so hypnotizing, and it's mesmerizing, and it just shows and reflects the tone beautifully in each scene. So I love Perks' soundtrack.
Yeah, it has a great soundtrack for sure.
So best film through the dialogue, I'd say the same. 12 Angry Men all the way. So
Yeah. The other one I'd say would be Before Sunset because that movie communicates a lot of story, a lot of backstory for the characters just through words, and it's just perfect. So I'd either go with Before Sunset or 12 Angry Men on that one.
what is Spielberg's defying future? I think with his movies, he always gets the tone right. Like I don't think there's a single movie he's made where the tone feels inconsistent or off. Like I know it's a weird thing to
Yeah.
say,
No,
and he's
I
always
agree with you on that.
hmm, like I know he's always great in other aspects, and he's a brilliant filmmaker, but his tones are always so well done. Like if you think about it, Raise the Lost Ark, it's so energetic, and it's so fun and lifelike, and I love it for that. Jurassic Park is a movie that's like magical but at the same time, it's also a movie that's tension filled and suspenseful, and they blend it together perfectly. It works so well. It doesn't sound like it works, but if you watch the movie, you know what I mean. He's able to like mix these tones so well and just
Hmm.
have a consistent tone throughout his movies.
Yeah, yeah. I'd say the tone is a big thing. Making memorable characters is a really big thing too. Like when I watched Jaws recently, there are like random characters in the background that I remember. I was like, oh yeah, it's that person. Like there's like I don't know if you've seen Jaws
Yeah,
recently
I've
or
seen Jaws.
anything.
I've seen Jaws.
But um, there's like that one person just like in the background who's just like I don't. She doesn't even have a name, I don't think, but she's just like there talking about like if you're not born here on the island, then you're not an islander. And that contributes a lot to the character and the situation. Um, but she's just like in the background. She's like so entertaining, but she's just in the background, and that's shown a lot with these movies. Catch Me If You Can is another one. Like each person he comes in contact with is just a memorable character. He's just really good at making everyone memorable and having each individual person on screen have a distinct personality. And that's how I feel, at least.
Mhm. I understand what you're saying. I just think his tone is like probably it's hard to say because he's great all around with his movies. Like they're always amazing all around. So
Yeah.
okay, I'm sorry if I skimmed through some of your guys' comments here. I'm just trying to catch up because I am like 12 minutes behind. So what is one film you recommend each other? Well, that's hard to say because I don't. I guess I'll just look at my favorites list and just see like have you seen Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?
No, I haven't yet. I know you told me to check it out. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, the 30s one. The 20s one and 40s one for don't watch them. But the 30s one is fantastic. The thing is with it, it's a horror movie, of course, and like
Hmm.
it goes through the classic story, but it goes through it so well. It's the visuals are phenomenal. They're so captivating and just the way atmospheric. The editing is beautiful. I mean, just like there's these scenes where they take that. I don't know. There's like these split screen shots, and they're done so well. And just the dialogue, the makeup. I could go on. I want to make a video essay on it someday. So, what is a film that you would recommend to me?
My biggest recommendation, like everyone, is the Before trilogy. So, Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and Before Midnight. Um, Sunset's my favorite. Sunrise is probably the easiest to watch. Midnight is kind of one of those that I have like a love-hate relationship with because it's like it builds up this romance in these first two movies really well, and then the last one is like it just gets very realistic. So it gets to a point where it's just like I wouldn't say unsettling, but it just like it's you're just kind of like, why'd you have to make that decision kind of a thing, you know what I mean? But yeah, Before Sunrise. Check the Before trilogy out, man. Those are great movies.
Yeah, I've been thinking about checking them out. So I guess we'll just see. So I've wanted to check them out, and they're on my watch list. So we'll see. Ethan and Gavin, what if Zack Snyder made an MCU movie? It wouldn't happen because he doesn't like the MCU that much. He said this
It
before,
doesn't.
so it wouldn't work.
Yeah. Um yeah, if he made it would just be like Zack Snyder. I don't know what I would say. Like it'd be dark, a lot of music. Um
Mm.
I don't know. It would look a lot like a comic book, that's for sure. But it would be like you can't really explain Zack Snyder. It's just like it's Zack Snyder, you know.
Yeah, exactly. You can't explain what he does. He just does what he does. So and plus it wouldn't happen because he doesn't like the MCU. So let's see. So I'm looking at. Sorry if I'm skipping some of your guys' stuff. Have you seen Saving Private Ryan? I have, and it's amazing, but I have to rewatch it. Have you seen it?
I have. Yeah. The opening um Omaha Beach scene is my favorite film opening ever by far.
Over Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, yeah. No. I mean, I love the opening to Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I think Raiders is a way better movie, but just the opening to Saving Private Ryan is just perfect to me. It's brutal, it's unsettling, it's super realistic. It's just perfect to me. The rest of the movie is really good. Um, I just don't think it holds up with the rest of the opening. Kind of similar to Up, you know. But I don't know. I like the movie a lot. I think it's really well done. It's full of a lot of heart, great character moments. Um, it's very realistic, despite it pretty much being a fluff story about mostly made up characters, which is fine. But you know,
I consider it his best movie, but I gotta rewatch it. So
yeah, I like it a lot. It's really good. It should have won Best Picture over like Shakespeare in Love or whatever won.
let me see. Uh, what won Best Picture 1998? Oh, 1999. Yeah, it came out in 1998. So, sorry, Meg.
Yeah, the Oscars happened a year later.
Yeah, Shakespeare in Love won.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but like, come on, it's Saving Private Ryan, man.
Sigh. I'm contemplating leaving the screen and continuing Godzilla versus Kong, but I really don't want to. Decide what you decide. If you want to leave, you want to leave. If I can't blame you because I'm
You
here.
can watch Ethan versus Gavin right here. You know.
Exactly. You can watch me getting bullied if you want to come here, or you. Yeah. So here it is, Gavin versus Ethan Butler over basically two movie critics talking, or two massive giant creatures punching each other in the face. Which one do you want? Yeah.
One is more
Obviously, it's
philosophical.
us, but yeah, seriously though, just do what you want. Ethan, best and worst A24 movie.
I haven't seen that many A24 movies. Um, my favorite A24 movie would have to be. I don't know. I'm kind of battling with Moonlight and Lady Bird. I love both of those movies. I think I settle a lot. Like I can rewatch Lady Bird a lot easier than I can rewatch Moonlight. I think Moonlight is probably the better movie. Oh, what A24 films have I seen? I haven't seen like. I've seen The Lighthouse. I actually have seen The Lighthouse. I'm not the biggest fan of The Lighthouse, believe it or not. I enjoy it. I think it's. I think The Lighthouse is really well done, super entertaining, really well shot. I really love the tone. I love the energy and just how uneasy it makes you feel. But I don't know. It just didn't really fully keep my attention. So I'd probably have to say The Lighthouse is my least favorite. But again, I've only seen like 5 A24 movies. You know.
My favorite is Eighth Grade, but I've only seen 3. One was a bad A24 horror movie. The second one was The Farewell, which was good, but it wasn't great.
Oh yeah, no. Farewell. That's my least favorite. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'd have to put that. Man, I was really disappointed by
Wow.
that one.
No one really likes it, do they?
Like, it's a good story. It's full of heart. I'm glad the director got to make their passion project, but it may have been like how I was feeling. Like I was watching it on a plane. I was feeling like really like wheezy, so I just wasn't in the mood to watch like a really slow movie with a lot of talking. It just made my head hurt. But that's just how I was feeling at the time. But I just couldn't connect with it that much. It just felt too like, like inside, and like you'll only understand if you're part of this culture, and so I did not grasp it very well. I totally forgot. Yeah, Farewell is my least favorite. I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10. So
I mean, that's not a bad score.
no, it's not. That's the thing. Like I love like A24 stuff, and so like I'd say The Farewell is my least favorite. I don't hate it. I don't think it's like overrated because I don't want to give it any hate. I don't think it deserves it, but I just didn't enjoy it, so that'd be my least favorite. I totally forgot it existed. So
I guess adding to that, with my favorite A24 movie is Eighth Grade, which honestly I don't even love it. I just think it's really good. I've only seen 3, like I said before, and I think with it's a relatable movie, I guess, for me because I am in 8th grade. But at the same time, the performances are very good. It's very creative, and it's a movie that's just very relatable and very real. And I think that's what makes it work so well. I think
yeah, I agree.
the main character is pretty great, actually. I don't love it. I don't think it's like one of the best movies of 2018. I haven't seen that many great movies from the year, but I wouldn't consider it that. But it's definitely a very good movie. I think with it is sometimes things just happen and then they're done for 5 seconds. And I think that's one of my main issues with it is there's stuff like that where it just happens and they don't it just kind of ends. Like there's this whole thing with this boy, I guess. I'm not gonna say what he asks her to do because this is a PG channel. And there's this thing that they asks her, and then he kind of just never talks for the movie. Like they don't. I understand they're trying to make sure that it's not that inappropriate for some people, so the people that it's targeted at can actually watch the movie. I understand that perfectly, but it didn't need to be there. Like this didn't need to be there. I understand
Yeah,
what you're
it would
trying to
make
do.
sense if they're trying to make a point with that, or trying to have some sort of conclusion, some sort of like main message about how that affects someone emotionally or something. But it just kind of happens and it's never brought up again. So I get
Yeah,
that. I mean, I love movies that don't really have a plot sometimes, and it's just a character doing things, like slice of life movies. And that's
yeah,
what I love
yeah.
about Eighth Grade, but there are definitely moments here and there where I'm like, but like, why?
Like Perks is my favorite movie, and that doesn't really have a plot. But with Perks, it develops every plot line. That's what I like about it. It develops every plot line that comes its way. With 8th grade, it kind of half develops some of its plot lines that it adds in the movie.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
So
surprised Eighth Grade is rated R. That's
I
probably my
mean,
biggest shocker,
there's that one thing with with the boy and her asking, "Do you give?" I'm not gonna say it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah. But still, like, I think a 13-year-old could handle that. I'm just
I
saying, like,
mean, yeah, that they can handle that, but it's like it's they're still gonna do that because
they're
ratings are overprotective now.
they are so like it's so weird. Like I saw a movie last night and it was like it's PG-13 and it had like a lot of swearing in it, which is fine, but like after a while it got like really harsh and felt very like R-rated, and they said the F word like 5 times. And that doesn't usually bother me, but it was just weird to see that in a PG-13 film. Whereas with like Eighth Grade, like they don't nobody like cusses in that movie, and there's like a couple of like innuendos and things, but like I just don't get it. The rating system is so inconsistent and weird. Honestly,
Yeah,
like
and
why
the
make a
thing is,
movie
Malcolm
about
X, yeah, like Malcolm X, they drop n bombs a ton of times, and it's rated PG-13. That doesn't
Mhm.
make sense to me.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't know.
There's Wes Anderson movies like The Grand Budapest Hotel, which isn't that bad, and it's R for some reason.
Yeah, it, it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's the rating system is really weird. So,
Yeah.
what are your guys' thoughts on the new Suicide Squad trailer?
It looks better than Suicide Squad, which I haven't seen, but I don't know. It looks better than that. I like James Gunn's style. I'm not really a fan of being R-rated just cuz like some superhero movies are just like we're just going to be edgy because we can be edgy, you know? Like
Mm.
I'm like but why, you know? Everyone's just like swearing and it's like ultra violent just because. So I'm not really a fan of that. Like Logan or something like Logan is super violent, but it warrants that and it makes sense for the character. Or Deadpool, that makes sense to me. I don't know. There are just some where it's just like, come on, man.
So you don't think Polka Dot Man should have an R rating? How dare you?
No, I mean, I don't know much about these characters, nor do I care that much. But like, just from what I saw from the trailer, it seemed like them trying to be edgy just because they could be edgy. Um, it just depends.
Mm.
Comic books are mostly intended for kids, and so it's just like it's just jarring to me. And it's not a bad thing, but I don't know. I don't wholly agree with the idea of just trying to do that just to be cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like what you're saying about comic books are mostly meant for kids. A lot of these characters are like from like people that were like in the 80s, like a lot that now they would be adults. So I'm guessing that's what it's trying to target, I guess, is people that grew up with comic books and want to watch these type of movies. I don't know. It looks like one of those, I don't know how to explain it, but it looks like a R-rated movie that isn't like dark, but it's more like a Deadpool vibe, if you know what I mean. I
Mhm.
got that more from it than really
Yeah,
like
like
an
the tone is
edgy
very
vibe.
like self-aware. I like that tone.
Yeah, it looks brightly colored. It looks interesting. I'm excited for it. Guardians 2 mentally broke me, but hopefully Suicide Squad 2021 can fix that. Yeah. No, I have not seen Mulholland Drive.
I've only seen part of it. You probably know what part it is.
He wouldn't make a Marvel movie because he doesn't read comic books. So he wouldn't make a Marvel movie.
Yeah, he's too cool for that. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I know you were joking, but he is. Oh, it's an Interstellar. I really like that movie. I watched it the first time. I don't remember liking it much. I remember being bored, but remember once again, I was in my Sean Chandler phase, so that kind of degrades my opinion on it. But I'm not saying anything bad about Sean Chandler, okay? But the thing is with it is the fact that with Interstellar, I just found it boring. I didn't find it very interesting. I didn't connect with any of the characters. I just didn't care about anything that happened, really. I
I get
just
that.
didn't care. What?
That makes sense. I get that. That makes sense.
Yeah, okay. Well, what did you think about Interstellar?
Um, I like it. I didn't really like it that much when I first saw it. Um, it's one that I definitely find enjoyment out of. I think it's great visually. I think it has a nice setup, but I don't know, like the reason why they're doing specific things feels kind of like okay. Like why are you going to space? They don't really like dive into that very well. Um Yet they still have like long monologues about love, but you can't simply explain why they're going to space in a clear way. Like that just I don't like that. I don't like a lot of the writing. I think it's really cheesy in a lot of places. Like I get it if you connect with it, that's totally cool. But sometimes I just find it like really overly sentimental and I can't really connect with what's going on. Um I don't know. It's just Nolan, and Nolan is trying to be like really like I'm a cool guy. I know what it's like to be a human, but he just does what Nolan usually does, which is make you know movies where like people talk a lot with where they're just really overly serious. You know.
Yeah, it's kind of like honestly, if they're kind of like that Nolan's movies, like with the characters in it, they're kind of like that edgy kid in the background with like I don't know, like that what has like that has like I don't know a leather black clothes all over, and
Hmm.
that preaches about stuff all the time. That's what his movies sometimes remind me of. Not even in a bad way, actually. It's just a way I
Yeah,
compare them.
he can do it really well. He does it so well in Inception, I think. Like Cobb's not the most interesting character, but I like, you know, it works. Or like Memento. I'm not really supposed to feel this huge emotional connection to the character, but he
Mm.
works for what the story is
Yeah,
doing. He serves the story.
Memento's probably his least pretentious movie, if I'm being honest. Mm.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say so.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Interstellar. It's still probably good, like a 7 out of 10, which is a super positive score because I appreciate so much about what's on display. I love the visuals. I love the score. I just think it's all like really well presented. Um, but yeah, I just don't connect with that much going on. That's just me.
Mm. Yeah, I agree with you as well. But I I am also in the middle of Godzilla vs Kong. Any thoughts without spoilers? I haven't watched it yet. I haven't seen the first 2014 Godzilla, and I haven't seen King of Monsters. So, have you seen it?
Oh, me? No. Never really got into the MonsterVerse that much.
Would you be okay with Zack Snyder? No, not really, because he doesn't like Marvel. I don't know why we're doing this comparison. He doesn't like Marvel. He wouldn't do it. So there's no point in asking, okay? He will never direct a Marvel movie. And I wouldn't be okay with that because it wouldn't work because of the way he ideology idolizes things or like represents things. It wouldn't work in the MCU at all. So
Yeah, they wouldn't let all the Christian symbolism come through.
oh no, they wouldn't. They would not. They wouldn't let
Disney's too harsh
anything.
on that thing.
Yeah, like they wouldn't let anything compelling out of it. But, yeah. Uh, Ethan, are you a fan of Robert Pattinson as Batman?
Um, yeah, I'm actually he. Yeah, I haven't seen that many Rob Pattinson movies, but I loved him in The Lighthouse. He was great in that movie. I loved him in Tenet. So he is a very wide range. He is such a talented guy. He gets so much hate for those stupid Twilight movies. Like, wow, just leave him alone, okay? But no, he has a lot of range, and seeing like that great of an actor starring in as this character, he would do such a good job, and I'm really excited to see him as the character because he can play the Bruce Wayne suave, likable guy, but he can also play, you know, like a really awesome fighter. It's like he would do it so well.
Yeah.
So
He
yeah.
was actually he was actually in Harry Potter Goblet of Fire, like the fourth movie. I don't know if you watch Harry Potter or not, but he was in that.
Oh, cool. Yeah. No, I haven't seen the Harry Potter movies. I'm uncultured.
Yeah, yeah, you are. You definitely are. But I'm just gonna try to skim through all of these and see if we can find one they care about, or like like a question. Anyone see the anyone's? Oh, is it lagging at all, or is it like really laggy?
A little bit, not that much though.
Oh boy. Okay. Anyone seen the awesome movie The Crow?
I haven't seen it. I know uh Brandon Lee, main star, um died while shooting that film, which is tragic. But that's like the only reason people know about the movie. Unfortunately. So that's all I know about the movie.
I haven't watched it either, so I don't really know. Let's see. Is it still lagging?
No.
Okay. Like, is like my mouth off from the words, like what I'm saying?
No.
Oh.
You're synchronized. You're good.
Okay. Gavin, rating for The Dark Knight Rises. Probably a 5 out of 10. I really didn't care for it. Everyone always talks about how great the ambition is, but it doesn't make a movie for me. Bane's voice was terrible. Even if Tom Hardy gave a really good performance, that voice, it ruins it so much. The action's great. I will say that much. The scene where Bane's taking over the football game is like great. Of course, Christian Bale's great as Batman because like he's the Batman in my opinion. But I don't know. It just didn't have much else. The story was really messy.
What's her name from Inception? I don't know the actress's name. Marion Collarwood or something. she's in the movie and she's not very good, but also her character is extremely pointless and just keeps showing up and they keep saying you're important, and I'm like, but why? She doesn't do anything significant. Why is she important all of a sudden? So yeah, I don't love the movie. I think it's cool. There's a lot of cool sequences. I think as finishing off the trilogy, I think it concludes pretty well, but I don't know. There's just too much stupid stuff in it for me to take it seriously.
Okay, I should probably get back to the interview questions because I haven't answered in a while. Favorite movie YouTuber?
Chris Stuckman, by far. Love the guy. He's super genuine. When he talks, you feel like he means it. He never seems like he's doing it for the views or for the money. He's very upfront. He's honest. He's cool. Even when I don't agree with him on something, I'm still like, I get what you mean, man. No, I totally get what you mean, So, yeah, by far, Chris Stuckman is my favorite.
I do like Chris Stuckman. I just don't watch him very often. So, yeah. Okay, so I'll just move on to the next one. Wait a minute, but yeah. No, I'm not even gonna make that joke. Favorite genre?
Honestly, I love all genres. It's it's really hard to pick. I mean, I like it's dramas. I like dramas about people. Those are my favorites. The ones just about humans, what it's like to be a human. So I'd say drama. I love westerns as well. Such an underrated genre in my mind. I mean, westerns are cool. When you see a dude riding into town on a horse with the cowboy hat on, and the music plays, you can't deny it. It's cool. I can't describe it. It's just awesome.
I mean, I haven't seen many westerns. I watched The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and the Dawes trilogy and Rango, and those are the only ones I've really seen, to be honest. But westerns seem interesting. Yeah, drama is an interesting genre because it's one that where
generic. It covers so many different topics. It's hard to say what's a drama.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm just trying to get the question, so sorry if I skip what you're saying. I'm just trying to, go. What do you think of Christian Bale's Batman voice? I don't mind it. I think people overreact to it and say how terrible it is. I think it's fine.
Yeah, it sounds fine in the first two. In Dark Knight Rises, sometimes I'm like, okay, calm down, man. Sometimes it just sounds dumb, really stupid. But the first two, it sounds fine.
Sometimes though it does add unintentional humor. I don't know if actually it might be funny intentionally, but like when Nolan's like saying stuff like "I'm not wearing hockey pads," like
Yeah.
like stuff like that. It's just funny. It's not groundbreaking, but it's so funny.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm just trying. Yeah, there's not really any questions in the chat, so I'm going to go on to this question: advice for other creators.
Um, Sounds cheesy, but I think be you. Like for a while I felt like really just serious, really overly scripted. But once you're just like you and you can get comfortable behind a microphone or behind a camera, you can just be yourself. And that's a lot of acknowledgement that one of my cousins told me. He was like, "What I love the most about your channel is it's you. You know, it's personalized to you. It's not generic. You know, it feels
So not like me.
very
Yeah.
well, yeah, you just need to be like just be your own person, be your own creator. Just be funny, crack a joke. If you're not that funny in real life, then just be you. Like that's all I can really say. But just put as much effort as you can, even if not that many people see it. Like at least you can be proud that you put the work into it. And for me, like even if I don't get that many views on something, I still put a lot of time into editing something, and I watch the video and I'm like, I'm proud of this. It's not getting that many views. Sometimes it gets a lot of views, and that's cool. But yeah, just putting the work into it, putting your effort into it, making it distinct, unique, personalized to you, then you're good to go. That's what I'd say.
So I guess talking about that, like what you're talking about is like I need that advice about just talking like who I am because I talk like a robot sometimes and my voice just sounds dead and it sounds like I'm getting up at 3 a.m. in the morning. So yeah, that definitely helps a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually skipped a couple questions, so I'm gonna go back to those. Have you guys watched any David Lynch movies? He directed my favorite movie, Blue Velvet. Oh, that's your favorite movie. I watched Eraserhead, which is one of my favorite horror movies and just one of my favorite movies in general. I love it to death. I want to do a video essay on it. And it's amazing. I love it so much. He did the Elephant Man, which I watched, and I loved it as well. It's like in
I
my
want to
top
see that.
60.
I really want to see that one.
Yeah, it's great. I watched The Straight Story, which was fun. It's like his most recent one I've watched. I didn't care for it, but it was okay. It's like it's the perfect movie to just put on the background. To be honest, that's how I describe it. But yeah, I need to watch more of his stuff. I want to watch Mulholland Drive and Blue Velvet and all these other movies. And of course, Dune has to be like a cinematic masterpiece. But yeah,
Did he direct Dune?
Yes, he directed Dune.
I didn't know that. That's weird. How did I not know that? Dune. Yeah.
He directed the 80s version.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very popular. I just didn't know that David Lynch made it. I haven't seen any David Lynch films. Elephant Man is the big one I've always wanted to watch. Never got to it. I've seen part of Mulholland Drive, but yeah, that's about it.
Okay, here's the second one. Gavin, Ethan, which one would be worse? Live action Shrek. There's a play. There's a musical for it. Okay.
That musical is so bad.
I haven't watched it, but
I've seen
bad. Live action Toy Story. Live action Monsters Inc. Actually could work. Maybe.
It'd be terrifying.
Live action Family Guy. Live action Boss Baby, live action Food Fight, and live action Emoji Movie. I haven't seen Family Guy. I haven't seen Food Fight. Everything else I think I've watched. Yeah, everything else I've watched besides those two. Toy Story would be really weird with the CGI and everything. It won't work.
Ew, yo, it would be disgusting. It would be nasty, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to think which one's the best and then figure out which one is the worst. Live action Shrek would actually probably work the best, actually, if you think about it. Like, I don't know. I think it would work the best because it actually no, but it wouldn't work very well. I think the best that would work is actually live action Monsters Inc. I think that would work the best.
Honestly, I think Boss Baby would work well as a live action. I mean, it'd be ridiculous, but like I can totally see that being like one of those like 90s comedies, like I don't know, Baby's Day Out or something, where like it's a baby and they're like talking like a human. It'd be ridiculous, but I don't know. They could pull it off somehow.
They'd have to CGI the entire baby because they can't legally use a baby.
I don't know.
No, saying that what Monsters Inc. would work the best. Which one would look the worst? Toy Story is definitely up there. That would haunt my nightmares. But Shrek, I don't even want to imagine that. That would not work.
But would be the worst. I'd probably say either Emoji Movie or Toy Story would be the worst.
I'd probably say out of those three, it would live action Shrek, Toy Story, and the thing is with Emoji Movie, I think maybe in ways it wouldn't be nearly as dreadful, even though we'll actually note that would be very dreadful. But the thing is, they can't exactly make the emoji thing live action. They'd probably just make the human parts live action and then have the other stuff really CGI'd, so that wouldn't be as awful. Shrek wouldn't work. Toy Story, I think Shrek would be the worst, actually. So, those are just my thoughts, though. Okay, moving on to the next question. This is my favorite question. I always say this. If you watch my live streams, you know what it is. What is something you regret doing when starting YouTube?
Yeah. Man, I put so many videos on private. It's hard to remember. Oh, man. Yeah, I did. Back in the day, I was bored. I used to have these songs stuck in my head, so I was just like, I can lip sync these songs. So I just got on my webcam with my dirty kitchen in the background, and I would be lip singing random songs. Really embarrassing. So I had to take them down. It's ridiculous.
Are they unlisted?
I think, yeah, they're unlisted.
Yeah, could you send some to me?
If you wanna cringe, yeah.
Yeah, I do. I'll post it on YouTube and make a compilation.
Go ahead.
So those videos are the videos you regret the most.
Probably. I know I made weird things before. I don't know. When I was like just starting, like I was like super bored. I didn't have any friends, so I was like I just got like some Superman action figure and was throwing it in front of the camera and was like, I don't know. It was ridiculous. It was so stupid. But I don't know. I remember seeing a comment and they were like, this video gave me cancer, but I loved it every second of it. And I was like, oh, well, thanks.
Okay, we have a great comment here. Thoughts on the Evil Dead franchise?
I'll let you the forefront on this one.
I haven't seen the sequels, so I just want to get that out of the way. I watched the first one last night, actually. I did not like it. I did not like it at all. I thought it was boring. I thought it was dull. I thought that the characters were so bland and they spend so much time on them. I thought it was just so uninteresting. There wasn't anything fun about it. There wasn't anything I had to care about. I'm doing an overrated movies video, so once you see that, you'll know. Have you seen the Evil Dead movies?
No, I haven't seen either.
Hmm. Have you guys seen Chaos Walking and Slash Lord Cherry? Both have Tom Holland. I haven't watched either. I don't plan on watching either. So
My sister saw Chaos Walking, and I was like, "Did you like it?" And she was like, "It was good." And I was like, "I hear it's not very good." She was like, "I was just kidding. It was really bad." And so I don't know, but no, I saw
so,
Cherry.
was she in like that fake voice like it was good?
Yeah. Well, she's kind of saying that because she went to go see it with my older brother, and my older brother thinks everything is deep. So
Really?
I don't know. No, no. He's just kind of like, it's just funny because he takes a lot of things seriously, and so I'm just kind of like, okay, man. I don't know. Like we watched like Frozen 2 or something, and he was like, this is really intimate. This is like super thought provoking, and I'm like, it's Frozen 2, man. You know. But
Is he just trying to say that to like I don't know impress you or whatever? Or
I don't know. That's just
mm,
him. It's cool.
mm.
I don't
Well,
mind it.
was he like that before you started doing movie YouTube videos?
Um, I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember. But I mean, for me, uh, like I've noticed a lot. Like sometimes my family is just like, "Hey, look at that thing in that movie. It looks nice. Look at that cinematography, Ethan." And they're like poking me, and I'm just like, "Yeah, I notice it." But it's obviously they don't care, but that's fine. I don't mind it. Anyway, yeah, I've seen Cherry. Um, hated it. Really bad
Mm.
movie. I don't say that about many films, but it is all over the place. Just the direction. It is just the Russo brothers trying to prove that they're cool, and they go so all out, and it is like so obnoxious and so difficult to sit through. It just, I don't know. It just makes you feel gross while you're watching it. When basically it's just like a guy doing stuff. I don't know. It's like a biopic. Like it's a lot of narration and telling the story of a guy's life, and it just made me feel really icky, but like not in like a Fincher type way where that's the point. Like they just kind of did that just to be like, oh, we're cool and we're edgy, you know.
Mm. So
I
like
don't
that
know.
emo kid, like that emo kid in the background that's trying to prove how edgy he is.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's the direction is so, it's so in your face. It is so in your face. They're constantly playing like the most random tracks at the most random time. Sometimes they're playing like opera music. Next time they're playing heavy metal in the next scene. It tonally the movie is like all over the place. It feels like someone vomited on a screen. Like, I I appreciate the ambition. I understand that they're trying to do something different, and I appreciate that. Like I appreciate it's not like a dull Marvel movie like they normally make when it comes to their direction. But man, it was really like really underwhelming. It just kind of made me mad. I just felt icky after seeing it. So no, would not recommend. Bad movie.
Okay, I guess that means I have to watch it.
Yeah, totally.
Don't even get Gavin started on Evil Dead Law. He did a tangent on Insta Live about it. Yeah, I did. I started talking about because I don't know. I was like, it's just something to talk about. I just started bashing it. I'm gonna talk about my overrated movies video. Trust me, the Evil Dead sequels are way, way better. I hope you're right. I really do. Okay, I hope that you are right. Ethan, best and worst food chain you've eaten. For me, worst is Ryan's. Best is Five Guys.
Best food chain I've eaten at. I like Five Guys a lot. They probably have my favorite fries. Chick-fil-A, because It's the obvious white boy pick. One that it's like around my area. It's like Chipotle, but it's way better than Chipotle. It's called Cafe Rio, and it's I don't know, it's basically, if you've ever eaten at Chipotle, it's everything great about Chipotle food, but like 20 times better. Like it is so much better. Like there's a lot of, they put this really good sauce on everything. Um, they melt the cheese on top of the tortilla on your burritos, and it all just like goes together really well. Everything. It's really juicy. It's delicious. I love it. So probably my favorite would have to be Cafe Rio. If you say that's a food chain, but like if I had to say like fast food, I'd say Chick-fil-A. And worst, I don't know. I haven't eaten at that many bad places, so I wouldn't really know. I don't know, like Arby's or something. I don't know.
I don't go to many food places because I have no life, but that's just me.
Because you're healthy.
Yeah, I'm so.
You're one of the
healthy.
few healthy Americans out there, you know.
Yeah, sure, yeah, definitely, 100%. But guys, I eat sometimes. My mom brings me food occasionally.
Yeah.
Yeah, but but seriously though, I don't go anywhere to eat that much. Like sometimes we go to like a pizza place, like I don't know, like Pizza Hut or something like that,
I Pizza, my favorite pizza place.
or like Rockies or places like that. Like we go to pizza places a lot, but we don't really go to like a food chain or something or like a food place.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts on Martin Scorsese?
Cinema.
Exactly. He's right about Marvel movie.
No, I love Scorsese. I love his style. I love his, similar to Spielberg, he's very focused on character. Really important thing. He cares a lot about the people. He cares a lot about the culture, the lifestyle. He always explores like really interesting individuals, mostly people that we usually like look down upon as criminals. And he likes to dissect them as human beings and make like their situation more relatable, you know. So yeah, I love Scorsese. He's not like, his movies aren't my absolute favorite. Like I don't think like, I don't know. There's only like one movie of his that's on my favorite movies of all time. So like I'm not
Which
the
one is
biggest
that?
fan of his The Departed.
Oh yeah, The Padded.
The Departed. Yeah. No, it's yeah, that's the only one I'd say I'd put on a favorites list. And the rest are really good. Like I really like I really like his movies. But I mostly love just him, and I love his direction. So yeah.
I mean, I did a 2-minute video essay telling you guys why I think he's the best when it comes to movie characters. So I think you already know my thoughts if you actually watched that. But I
Mhm.
think with Scorsese, it's like seriously though. I mean, his characters are perfect. I think with it, he takes these characters that aren't likable and makes you root for them somehow. Like even people you know are just awful human beings, like Henry Hills or the guy from, I forgot the guy's name from Raging Bull. I know Robert De Niro plays him. I just forgot his exact name, but him from Raging Bull and Rupert,
Jake LaMotta, I think.
yeah, Jake LaMotta, Rupert Pumpkin from The King of Comedy. They make you root for these characters you don't like, but like bad people, terrible people, but they make you root for them. And I think that's what Martin Scorsese does well. And I mean, he's Goodfellas. If you see him, he can do cinematography. I mean, in Goodfellas and Raging Bull, those are like some of his most visually pleasing movies. I need to see more of his stuff. I haven't seen The Departed. I haven't seen like some of his other films, but
Wolf of Wall Street, I think, is the most energetic film I've ever seen. Like it feels like you're on drugs or something. Like it's crazy. It's a crazy movie, but I love it. And they make you root for Jordan Belfort, who's in real life he's kind of a terrible person. But they make him likable. I mean, that comes with DiCaprio, but that also comes with the writing and how Scorsese put it together. So yeah.
Okay, so there's some news things in chat, so I'll just go to that. Who else besides me thinks that when Seth Rogen directs a film, it's disgusting? I haven't seen a Seth Rogen direct a movie, I don't think. He directs movies? Seth Rogen directed movies. Let's see what pops up.
Like, yeah, he's like helped direct films. Yeah, I've seen the interview. He helped direct that one, right?
I mean, I looked up Seth Rogen directed movies and it popped up, so I guess.
Yeah, I don't really like. Yeah, I don't really like the interview that much. I mean, it's cool, like when it comes to how like offensive it is, and that it was still made in the 21st century. But like, I don't know, it's just not that funny to me. I don't like Seth Rogen. I think he's so overrated. I don't like the style of comedy where it's just a lot of people improvising and just actors just sitting around and being themselves. Like, I think it's such a lazy way to do comedy, and so many people fall for it. And I'm just like, come on, just a lot of people just love those movies. And I'm like, but they're not funny. It's just people sitting around making things up on the spot. My favorite comedies are the ones that are really tightly written and really well paced.
I guess I could understand that. I haven't seen the interview. I've only seen. I think he was in like an American Pickle, which I mean I enjoyed him, but he didn't direct it, so I can't say anything. It's funny because you guys are into films and Gavin went to Rockies. I get it. Nice, I guess. Good job. Oh yeah, I forgot. Hi Jennifer. Zack Snyder should direct Elmo movie.
Elmo of Steel, all of the religious symbolism.
Yeah, Elmo versus who would he go against? Elmo versus Oscar. Yes.
Yeah, Elmo versus the Oscars.
Like Oscar the Grouch. This is the team up movie we've been waiting for. Who cares about Godzilla versus Kong? Elmo versus Oscar. You must make that happen.
Yeah.
I've heard of this show called The Boys. It's a really cool concept, but it's very hard. Yeah, I can't watch it, but So I guess I'll just go to the interview questions. Let's see. So, what editor do you use?
Editing software. I use Premiere right now. So yeah, Adobe Premiere Pro. Okay. Really good software.
Okay. Favorite hobby besides YouTube or anything related to that? So watching movies, editing videos, writing your scripts for videos, adjusting your mic, buying your mic, shopping for your. You get the idea.
Yeah. Long walks on the beach. That's everyone's answer. No, I like I like people. I like talking to people. I'm not the most social person, but I just love hanging out with friends. Yeah, I like basketball. I like going for runs. Those are just like a few hobbies I can think of off the top of my head.
Imagine having friends. Yeah, so let's see the next one. So I mean, you just kind of listed up a ton of normal things, I guess, that people do. Not really like, oh, a big hobby, like, oh, I'm into rock collecting, or I don't know, I'm into making my bed, or something like that. That doesn't make any sense. But like, or writing, or like, I want to be a filmmaker. But I mean, yeah, sure, okay.
Yeah.
Favorite hobby beside? Oh, I already asked that. The last and final question before we're about to done kick this off, and there's a couple questions in the chat. Any future goals for YouTube? Anything related to that?
No, I have a lot of projects I want to work on. Multiple video essays. Probably do a video on The Simpsons. What makes that show great? Do one on Avatar. Why I love Avatar: The Last Airbender. I love the Before trilogy. Talking about Hellfire from Hunchback of Notre Dame. Why that's the best scene in any Disney movie, obviously. What else? Just got a lot of other things down the road. I've got a lot of things where I want to talk about specific, like my favorites from specific genres. Yeah, so I've got a lot of things that I'm working on. I got a Pixar video coming up as well. So, my plan moving forward is just to get specific thoughts out. Like just cover like my favorites mostly is my biggest goal right now.
So yeah. What'd you say exactly what your biggest goal is?
My biggest goal is to get to talk about my favorite movies, just like cover favorite movies, favorite sci-fi movies, cover different genres, favorite actors, the basic stuff.
Oh, okay.
I do just lists of those and just the Watch Mojo style things.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's great that you're trying to cover things and that you're trying to cover different grounds of different films, and I definitely be interested in watching that type of stuff because I enjoy when people cover different things. And I will say that you didn't go for any subscriber count. Like normally when I do these interviews, someone will say, "Oh, I want to hit 600 by the end of this month," or "I want to hit 200 by the end of this week." But you really didn't go for any of that type of stuff. You normally went.
I don't really care about subscribers. If I get subscribers, I get them. So.
So yeah, I guess that's gonna wrap it up, right? Actually, there's one more question I will answer before we kick this off. Thoughts on upcoming Halloween kills? I don't really watch the Halloween movies, so I don't have anything to say.
Seems cool. That's what I would say. Yeah.
So this is where we're gonna kick it off. If you want to check out my channel or like my Discord and my Letterbox, those are on my About page. Just click on my channel, go to the About. You'll find those linked right there. His channel is in the link in the description down below. If you want to go check that out, just refresh it. I added it while doing this live stream. Refresh it, click on it, and subscribe because he has way better content than mine. But yeah, that is going to be the video. That is going to be the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. I will actually don't do that. Don't do that. Subscribe to his channel. I'm so used to doing that. Subscribe to his channel. Don't subscribe to this channel. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.